So, good morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Dixie. This is Katrine. We're Easy Marketing, and we're so glad to have you. Today, we're starting a new webinar series talking about digital trends for 2021. And we're going to be looking at some lessons learned specifically during the pandemic and how we can apply those to your marketing strategy going forward. Just a little bit about Easy Marketing. We're located in Northeast Florida, but we do have clients all over the country and internationally, and we do web design, graphic design, email marketing, social media, and we're also a certified constant contact partner. So as we said, this is a new series, and we're specifically going to be looking about how organizations had to pivot last year when everything changed. A lot of places had to go to a digital first marketing strategy. And that was the difference, frankly, for some organizations between having to close their doors or continuing to survive. But some have really embraced these strategies and really thrived. And we hope that we can use some of those strategies going forward into this year. And the next slide.
Yes.
Go
So
ahead, Katrina.
this little series is usually one big one that takes about an hour and a half. But since we are meeting on Wednesday mornings for 20 minutes, we have breaking that apart and instead going in a little bit more deep into the different things that we have seen that we can use the transfer to 20 that we really learned into no, that we're going to use in 221 that we learn in 220. So we're going to take a look at that. And the number one here is to stay in touch and top of mind. I know you are in your industry, you are in your little bubble, not only because of COVID, but what you do. We know what we are doing, and we think that everyone else knows about us and remember us. An example, it is a bagel shop where we live. It opened up, I went there, best bagels ever. And then a week later, Saturday morning, I went to Panera to get my bagels again. Nothing wrong with those ones, but I just forgot. There was weeks and weeks before I drove by that bagel store and said, oh yes, they had that kind of bagel that I really like. I should go and get them here and also support small business. But we just keep on forgetting what's around us, and other people forget about us. So therefore, we really need to stay in touch and top of mind. And here are a couple of things we're going to look at because we want to reach the customers where they are now when we are so much more digital. And we want to update all the communication channels. And it is important now to take a deep breath and look at the stats. Take a look at wherever you have your online presence, if it's on your website or your Facebook or whatever it is, there is always statistics behind it. So yes, grab it and take a look and see what you can learn. So here are the things we're going to talk about right now. Website, Google My Business, emails, and social media. And so number one is your website. And I know for some of you, updating your website is a pain. You're not really sure how to do it. You have a hard time getting hold of your web designer, webmaster. If you have those, you can call us. But what I'm trying to say here, it's important. And we saw that right away when the pandemic hit, because we, at that time, I'm sorry, I thought I had turned that off. I thought I had turned that off. I'm so embarrassed. Sorry.
That's somebody calling you for some web help right now.
Yes, I had turned
Emergency.
it off. Right away when the pandemic hit, we had these things with the COVID and how the dental office needed to do. So at that time, the part when it came to the box there was much bigger. But now it's a small little box, and then when they click on it, they have all the information when it comes to COVID and what's happening there. So that's important that you keep that updated. And I'm going to have you talk a little bit about this when I turn off my my cell phone.
Yeah, the next thing you want to do is make sure that your Google listing is up to date. So in 2020, things changed so much. People were not sure, was your business open? Did you have different hours? Did you have different requirements, maybe temperature checks or masks? So people were really looking online to see what is the newest, latest, greatest information. So it's very important we learn that you keep this accurate. That way people have a lot of confidence in your business and they know how to contact you, when to contact you, and what services that you're currently providing.
So let me turn that on again. And one of the things that you can do, did you talk about the reviews?
I have not yet.
All right, okay. So one of the things with your Google listing, since you are the manager of it, or you should be, you can always go into the back end of their system, and here you can go in and start to ask for more reviews. There are a few things that really makes the Google My Listing work, and especially the Google reviews. That is very important, and there are ways to get them and to encourage you. So especially if you're a small business where you have um, like if you're an ice cream store, you can set up a sign, but if you have a store like a painter or a web designer like we are, as soon as we are done with a project, we thank our clients, and then we can go in here in the back end of your Google listing, and we get information on how to share the review form. So it's actually a link that we include in an email that we send to our clients and said, it's been a pleasure working with you. Hope you are happy with your experience. If you have time, please give us a review on Google. And that is a very good way to keep your Google listing up to date. And it is important to do this, because if you look at the statistics here, I mean, 70% of consumers have visited the small businesses online. You know, they do care, even if you have a tiny little website. And sometimes you feel that you can't compete with the big ones, but people are looking for you, and you need to be there, and you need to be updated. And it makes a big big effort. It makes a big difference to have things updated. And in these new days, you know, a lot of people are looking at way to reach you online. So make it easy for them to find you and to make and get hold of you and make an order, place an order. The next part is emails. Dix is going to talk about social media, and that is fine, but we all know how social media just flies by. And you know, if you don't open up your Facebook at the right time when someone had posted, it end up way down in the feed, and they're not going to see you. Anything you send out in an email is going to be in a person's inbox until they open or delete it. Okay. And if you've been with us this spring, we have been talking about how to best reach people, that people will open their emails, but you also need to send them. So you actually need to send them more often than you think. And we're talking about newsletters, but we're also talking about announcements, information, specials. And you should also take time to add new contacts to your email list so you can reach more people with your emails. Here's an example of someone that during the pandemic had to close their doors. And what they did instead, they started to offering on-demand virtual classes. And again, people used to go there and do their training in their studio before. I think it is it? Yeah, so they used to go there and because they walked in every time, they would see the banners and the flyers about upcoming events. Because no one is walking into a lot of these places, and now you have to send out emails even more often, and people tend to get used to getting those emails and get their information that way. So just send them and keep on top of their mind all the time.
Exactly. And if you're using Constant Contact, which we recommend to all our clients, it's a really great way to integrate all your different channels. You'll see we have a client here that was putting together some newsletters, but you could also use it to send, as Katrine said, specials, emails, new products, anything that you want to communicate with your customers, a change in hours, whatever you have going on. Email is still the best way, even in 2021. But you click right there at the top of the page where it says social, and then the same content that you developed for an email, just a click away, is now also posted in all of your social media channels. So you could post it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, whatever you have going on. So with just one click, you've really optimized your time and all your channels with the same information. On the next page, I'm going to give you a specific example of a client that we have here locally. It's a soccer club, so obviously a very high touch organization that was heavily impacted by the pandemic. Just like the bar, they couldn't have kids come for in person trainings and practices and games. They had to go 100% online. There were many similar organizations that had to close their doors, but they quickly pivoted and did a 100% digital strategy. So what they did is they had people sign up for a private Facebook group. So again, because you're signing up, you're collecting all those emails, all that information, you're keeping it private, but it's still a very high touch situation. So they had an at-home training series where they were developing workout plans that people could download and use in their own time, and also live videos. And you see an example there, and you may have had a few dozen, even a few hundred people tune in for the live video, but even afterwards, those videos continue to be seen. And if you see there the example, there was over 1,000 people that watched just one video, and that's very high for this organization. So they actually turned this really difficult situation into a plus, and it can continue to do this type of content going forward as a value added for their clients. On the next page, I show you about
So
how they.
I just want to say something. So we run all their social media. So when you look at this is design and wording that we produce here for our clients that we have under social media platform contracts.
Yep, we love working with them. And again, even though they were doing this live over Facebook, they were integrating all their channels. So they were sharing the same information via Twitter and LinkedIn and all those places. So here's a couple examples. One talking about their reopening plans, their procedures and protocols. The second one talking about those at-home trainings and workout plans. And the third is even integrating some partners. So this is an example where they had a partnership with a manufacturer that made some face masks. But all of these were shared across their social media channels, and you can do it with just one click using Constant Contact. And again, these are things that we did not just during the pandemic, but lessons learned going forward and can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in the new year.
Yeah, and Dixon showed two, or actually three of the platforms here, um, when it comes to social media. But we know that it used to be simple because in the beginning it was, emails and then come Facebook. But now there are so many more platforms, and you really need to reach the clients and customers where they are. So um, take time and figure out what platforms they are on and concentrate on those and send out the information. Very often when you have created an artwork that you can see that we create special artwork for things, and you do the write-up to post that on several different platforms is really easy. And then suddenly you reach them all over whatever platform they are on, including emails.
Yes.
And we do work with Constant Contact and their products, and I just want to do a little bit of a plug for them because they do have more than just email marketing. We already saw how that can be connected in with social marketing, but they also have now platforms for a simple website and for e-commerce. So if you're brand new and never tried Constant Contact, there is a coupon here. You're going to get that in your follow-up email, and you can take all of this for a spin. I'm just going to say that we do have next week the second part of our series. What we're going to do in 2021 is to try something new. Try something you haven't done before, and next week we are going to give examples of things that might is a little bit outside what you've done before, and going to suggestions how you can take that for a spin in your own business. Do we have any questions?
I'm looking. Can you check the question box for me, Katrine?
Yeah, I see they are saying hello. They are from California. They are from Florida, but I don't see any questions today.
Okay.
So that's good. So we actually end up early today.
Great job. Well, remember, this is a series, so we are going to be giving plenty of examples and talking about other things. Now that some places are starting to go back to normal, we don't want you to think, well, I'm going to go back to my old way of business. Because the good news is that because people got used to using social media, using email marketing, using all these different digital platforms, they're continuing to do so. Like a good example is I used to go get my groceries in person during the pandemic. I had them just put it in the back of my car. I ordered them online. I continue to do that now, even now that the pandemic is over. So think about how your business model may have changed, how you continue to use these things going forward. And I know we didn't have any questions now, but feel free to contact us afterwards if you have any questions about your business or industry or ways that we can help you.
Okay. So thank you everyone that joined us today, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.